The Shakespeare Festival I always thought was one of the most exciting things. That was much later in my life. I was working at the college, but I always thought that was a wonderful thing in the community. Just exciting. I remember, though, when I first heard they were going to do a whole summer of Shakespeare, I said, "Oh, yuck!" How dull. But I soon learned it was anything but dull. And of course, your dad was a major player in that.
But Arthur Lithgow, it was his genius that started it. He and I were on the front campus, or he had said, "Come here, I want to show you something." And we were at the one quarry looking at the main building, and he said, "That's a place that I want to do the history plays, Shakespeare history plays." So that's how it started. And we did 5 of the history plays the first year. We built a stage on the north side of the main building where there are steps. And the North Hall had burned just before that, a big fire there. And we used some of the timbers from there to build the stage. And these timbers were oak and had been there for years, and they were so hard that we had 3 skill saws. We kept getting sharpened in order to cut these things. But anyway, we built that stage. And got a company together, townspeople, students, and some professionals. And we started.
We were loving the whole thing, and we just thought I thought it was a real gift, because the effort was to play all of the plays of Shakespeare. And I was very impressed with the leaders, who were Meredith Dallas and Art Lithgow. And some of the people from New York, and some wonderful actors, and then Yellow Springs people all went to do it, and we did it out of doors, and people came from all over the Miami Valley to see the plays. It was just a wonderful time.
Oh, gee, some who were local people. There was certainly
Meredith
Lamming,
Dallas.
Meredith Dallas, Dorothy Lamming, as Fran Loud.
I'm thinking of some of the other actors that were so wonderful. Dorothy Lamming and Ellis Rabb, and is it David Hooks? Was that his name?
Oh, David Hooks was wonderful.
He was wonderful. And it was just great having those people in Yellow Springs for a summer.
Sir Toby.
Oh, yeah. Can't think of his name.
Bittner?
Bittner,
yeah.
Jack Bittner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we remember Meredith Dallas, who never looked the same in all the different parts that he took. He fitted the part perfectly, and you wondered whether that was what he really was. And then you found out in the next play that he was somebody totally different.
We rehearsed the first play and play it for a week, and then start the second play, and which we've been rehearsing, because we perform at night, rehearsed in the day. And with all the plays, we rehearsed them for 5 days. I remember we had tights, but they never dried. We were always wash them, but they've never had a chance to dry. And then we would, in the course of the second play, we would bring the first one back, usually on the weekend somewhere, and then we were rehearsing the third one. And in the course of the third week, we'd bring the second play back, and then the first play, and so on. And we ended the season, we were playing 5 plays on 5 nights, different plays. And we started with 50 chairs on the lawn, and we ended with 1,000.
I think we should make more of one point that Frida put in very early, namely the rehearsals being there in the morning and afternoon. Our kids visiting and observing that. Village workers, families, knowing what a theater operation is, because there it was out on this stage built over the steps of the main building. And then to see the actual performance with costume, lights, and the impact of talented performers.
There. And the Shakespeare really caught on. It wasn't an esoteric group. There were people from all walks of life who came to it. There was there was a tugboat captain from the New York harbor. So he would leave his boat on Friday, take the train out. We'd pick him up in Springfield and bring him over. And then he would see the play Friday night, Saturday matinee, Sunday matinee, and we'd take him back to Springfield and he'd go back to his boat on the harbor. But there are, with Shakespeare, there are aficionados who really go for it. And they came from all across the United States, particularly during the repertory. They move in for that week.
What do you remember of the Shakespeare Festival?
We were dating.
Well,
He used to take me there on dates.
I mean, just a short time. But after we were married, we attended regularly, and I was somewhat active in the theater behind the scenes, box office and ushering and that type of thing for a number of years.
Do you have any favorite plays that you can remember?
Oh, gee. Well,
I have favorites now, but at that time, the ones that I loved were the ones where they were having wars and people would burst out of the windows of the main building with fire, big torches and shields, and they'd be hitting the shields with these swords. It was wonderful.
Well, I think it was wonderful to hear Shakespeare, that our children had that experience, and we did too. And it was just a wonderful time.
Well, many parents have said how much the Shakespeare Festival has meant to their children. So at rehearsals, there were many children that were there to watch.
But the kids, they'll be doing sword fights around town. But many have later, as they've grown up, have spoken of that experience.
Mentioned how valuable it was for them and meaningful.
I had a youth group in the church, and I remember we went, I think it was the junior high kids, and we went roller skating one night, and while they were sitting on the sidelines resting, they were talking about the latest Shakespeare play, and I said, I wonder how many kids in this country in junior high are discussing Shakespeare at a skating rink. So it was a great opportunity in that. And my office then was in the president's office, so I was there backstage And who knows what would be on my desk on Monday morning, because they were pretty good all through the week cleaning up, but by Sunday night they were so beat that my desk was liable to have a head from somebody who'd been beheaded in the last night's show, or swords or anything lying around on the desk on Monday morning. But it was fun to be backstage while they rehearsed and stuff, and in the audience and working. I ushered and all that kind of stuff, you know.
The costumes were fun, you know, that everything was just great, yeah.
But the impact on the college and the immediate community was great, but it was a much broader impact on the Miami Valley and the kind of attention to one of the very first major Shakespeare festivals in the country.
But I always thought Shakespeare Festival was an exciting, wonderful time in Yellow Springs.